Hi, this is Jim Mann with Homestyle Southern Cooking, and it's so nice to be back with you. I've been gone for a couple of days. I had a catastrophe in my kitchen. Years ago, before I remodeled this house, when I went to Mexico, to Puebla, Mexico, they have Talavera tile. And at that time, I purchased this thing behind me here. And I knew if I ever had a kitchen, I'd put it up there. So I was cooking the other night, and I looked at it, and looked like it was bulging. And I guess because of cooking so much, the heat got behind it, and it all crumbled off the wall and broke. So shout out to my guy who does all my repair for me, Jose. We call him Gato. He brought his men over here, and they patched that piece back together. It's still got some cracks in it and everything, gives it some character. But I was devastated because I always pictured me, the little monk with his cookies by the wood stove. And I went online, I called people, I couldn't find anything that I liked. So I got it back, and I'm really happy. So, and telling you that story, you know this is Homestyle Southern Cooking, and you know that I love cornbread. So what I have done is I've just got a box of Jiffy cornbread, and I made it just by the directions. How this is going to change is I've got 1/2 cup of black olives I'm going to put into this, okay? I'm going to also, I've got some flaked chili peppers here, but you don't want a lot of these because these are really spicy. I'm going to add like 1/4 teaspoon in here also. I'm bringing you 2 different cornbread recipes. One that you can serve with dinner, the other one that would be more like for dessert. Okay, now I've got some fresh rosemary that came out of the garden, and I picked it and I washed it off, and I'm just going to chop it up roughly. I'm not going to do a whole lot of chopping because I actually want some big pieces in here, okay? But I'm just sort of cutting through here a little bit. Is there any big pieces? And what I want is this. I want 1 tablespoon of the fresh rosemary. So I've got my tablespoon here, and I'm going to fill this up, 1 tablespoon of the fresh rosemary. And I love rosemary, so you can't get too much. So, okay, I'm going to add the fresh rosemary now too. This has got our chili, this has got our olives, and it's got our rosemary. And I'll mix this all up in my cornbread. And I'm serving this a little bit differently because it is so special. I'm going to actually use, I have like a big deep dish pie plate. So I'm going to really grease this really good. And then I'm going to put my mixture in there. All right. Oh, and I forgot to tell you also, I did add 1 teaspoon of baking powder, which I will do to the next one also, but that will be in the descriptions below. It's the one thing I didn't tell you, okay? All right, I'm going to sort of spread that around in the bottom here on top. What I might even do, take a couple of little pieces of rosemary and just throw it on the top here. Okay, now I'm going to set this aside for just a second, okay? Then I'm going to do my next one. Get another bowl here, get rid of my rosemary. And I've got another box of Jiffy Mix. So I'm going to make that just the same way as I did the first one. This would be something, the first one you can make, I said you can serve dinner like bread with a meal. And this is kind of like a dessert cornbread. And, you know, being from the South, that cornbread's a staple. Now, I use Jiffy cornbread, but I showed you a long time ago that how you can make fresh cornbread in one of my recipes. So I'm taking this, it calls for 1/3 of milk, and it calls for 1 egg. So that's what the box recipe calls for. So I'll stir my egg up a little bit. I'll put that right in here. Now I'm going to stir this one up. I think that you will find these are really delightful, and the possibilities are endless. You can make, if you have dried cranberries or fresh cranberries or pecans, or, you know, make all sorts of mixtures with the cornbread to make it your own, to make it very special, the way that you want to make it. I just like rosemary, and I love olives. Okay, that's pretty much mixed up. Now what I'm going to do to this, I told you that I put 1 teaspoon of baking powder in here. I'm going to do that now. Okay. And we'll mix that up with it. Now remember I told you we're going to use this for a dessert cornbread. So I've got 2 tablespoons of just white sugar. And I don't want a whole lot of sugar, but it's a little bit of sugar that'll give it just a little sweet flavor instead of just your regular cornbread. Okay, to that, I've got a beautiful lemon. I'm going to zest about a teaspoon of lemon in here. This will give it that wonderful citrus flavor. It's just, I like using zest of lemon and lime and a lot of different things. It really brings out the flavor of things. Boy, this smells so good. Okay, that's about 1, wow, I just want to eat the lemon now. That's 1 tablespoon roughly of lemon. Now to that, I'm going to add, I've got some fresh raspberries, okay? I'm going to take and I'm going to add 1 cup of fresh raspberries. Let's see, this is a ½ cup measurement. I'm just going to pour the whole thing in here. Raspberries. So I've got the raspberries in here, I've got the lemon zest, and I've got the sugar. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my other pie plate. And we'll spray this one just as well. Like I said, this is something that you can make so many different ways, add so many different combinations to. Okay, let me scrape this off. Now I'll put this in this pan. Now my oven's set for 400, just like regular cornbread, 400. And I'm gonna let this bake for about maybe 15, 20 minutes because it doesn't take cornbread long to bake. Okay, now, but I'm not quite finished yet. We'll take this and spread these raspberries out here a little bit. Make sure I get some everywhere. And I've got a bag of roasted almonds. If I can get this open. Just bear with me a second. Let me just cut this open. I'm going to take some roasted almonds, maybe 2 tablespoons. And we'll put the roasted almonds right on top here. Now, I'm going to put these 2 in the oven, like I said, right now, and let them bake. And in about 15 or 20 minutes, I'll be back with you. Our cornbread dishes have been in the oven for 15 minutes, and it's time to get them out. So, here's our first one. This is, the rosemary and the olive. That smells incredible. And here's the second one. This has got the raspberries and the almonds on top. Now you have to tell me, you have to say they look really good, and I wish you could smell them. So what I'm going to let them do is I'm going to let it cool down just a little bit, then we'll come back and we'll take a peek at them and slice them. Cornbread has cooled down, and as you can see, I've got my butter ready and waiting to go on these. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these and put them on this plate so you can see it. Let's start with this one first. Now remember, this is going to have a little bit of sweet taste to it because we put 2 tablespoons of sugar in here. Okay. And let's cut into this one. There's a big black olive right on the top there. And we'll put this one going this way. So there we are. There's your raspberry and almond cornbread dessert. And there's your cornbread for a meal with black olives and with rosemary. I hope you'll try these and come up with your own combination. I can't wait to put some butter on these and try them myself. Until next time, thank you for your support. Keep on subscribing to me on YouTube. I appreciate all your support. All of y'all are family, and I enjoy bringing these recipes and crazy stories like I had this morning. Until next time, this is Jim Mexico saying, give yourself a great big hug and know that I'm thinking about you. God bless.